Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. I'm doing something a little bit different today. I am packing for a retreat, so I thought I would clean out my tote because it hasn't been cleaned out in a couple, maybe a year, I don't know. But yeah, it's packed full, so I'm going to stick it here on the desk, hopefully zoomed out enough for you to see everything. This is also a craft organization video for Ginger's Corner. I should have mentioned that a little earlier, but you probably saw the thumbnail there. I'll put a playlist down below for you so you can check out all of the other organization videos that have been done so far for this series. I'm going to start by showing you my tote here, and I'm going to go ahead and start taking things out of the pockets so that I can kind of reorganize it and make sure I know what is in there. I think I'll do one pocket at a time and see. Oh, there's my Juniper Mist ink. I was wondering where that was. I do have a big one, so that's okay. I'll stick this in here because I already have some of that packed in a different bag. And then you can kind of see how I pack this whole thing. All right. So I don't even know what's down on the bottom here. A foam pad for the Juniper Mist. I think that's it in this pouch. So I've pulled everything out of here. The elastic is a little bit stretched out because I've had it for so long and used it so many times. I don't ever take this off of here. These actually are little tiny dies. I don't even know where they came from. My mom bought them with some other tool or something like that years and years ago, but I leave them on there. I don't hardly ever use them, but they do work. And then I do have my backup distress tool for when I travel because I frequently forget to put this one in. But as you can see, the size difference and the groove difference, this one is a lot harder to use than this one. So this one's going in. This is a great that I'm packing this right now because yeah, it's pretty bad, and I want to make sure that I get everything in there that needs to be in there. All right, so we'll start with this pouch and then I'll work my way around. I think that's the best way to do it. All right, so I've got 2 centering rulers. Do I need 2? Sometimes I actually do use 2 because I'm doing 2 rows of text. These are what I use to put the text down, like thickers. I put them on the edge to align it and then snap it down. A lot of people ask me how I do that because it's hard to do with a solid ruler, but because this ruler, I don't know if you can see it, it has this gap in it. Actually, this one's broken. I've had it for so long. This one is newer, and it does have the gap, but not as much, but it kind of lets you kind of pop it a little bit more. That's probably how that one got broken, but it gives you a little more flexibility. So yes, I do use 2. Those are both going in there, but I do find these harder to read. Well, they're centering rulers so that you can center your text or your papers or whatever. Let's see here. There you go. You can see it reads the center. You can see if you're in the center of the paper by aligning to make it even on both sides. Anyway, so I do use both of those, but that one's not always easy to read, so I do keep this one in there. This one is also great because it has a kind of sharp edge if I want to tear a straight line. And then I also keep my T-square ruler in there. Try to back out of the camera a little bit so that you can see. Crystal katana, that is for placing sequins and that kind of stuff. These are quilting. They're called, I don't know, something turn something. I don't know. I'm not sure. My friends got me hooked on these. But they were a quilting tool for a specific technique, I think, that you use in quilting, maybe. Fast turn? They're called fast turn something. But they're great because they're somewhat flexible. I don't know if you can see that. They're somewhat flexible, but they're pokey, but they're not really sharp. It's kind of a blunt poke, whereas this is like a sharp poke. Well, this is supposed to be a sharp poke, but it's not so much anymore. But when you're doing dies through your die cut machine. It has the little tiny hole to help you punch the die out. These are great for that. Some people also use them in the tip of their glue so that their glue doesn't stop up, which reminds me, I need to put a bottle of glue in because I don't think I have that. My tweezers are always there. I've got a black and a blue Muji pen. They are different point sizes, 0.38 for the black, 0.5 for the blue. Those go in, those are always there. I use those all the time. This bag actually sits on a Raskog cart next to me, so I use it all the time. It's not like it's been sitting unused for a long time, but I haven't cleaned it out in a while, so I'm not really sure what's in here. This is a little piercing tool for travel, works great. So I'm sticking that in there. It's from Amy Tangerine. It's been in there for a long time. I just put my adhesive eraser, a sand eraser, and then I have a regular eraser. I don't know why I keep this in there because I also have this eraser. So I don't really need this one. I think I'm going to leave it home. There's no reason to bring it. So this eraser goes in here. A black Sharpie. I do also keep blades for this little guy in here, which I just replaced the blade, but I keep one extra blade in there. I have more at home, and I keep staples in here. So those are kind of quick go-to things that I might grab for relatively quickly. This actually is a little pocket here. You could put something in there, but it's likely fall over. I also keep a nail file, or actually 2 nail files in here. Sometimes you might want to sand the edge of your paper. I know that sounds weird, but I also could use it for my fingernails. So trying to find a slot that's open. We're gonna go with this slot right there. So I keep those in there. In this other little pouch here, I usually keep one of these pens. These are both clear and white. I don't think white actually has a color. I think this is actually empty. This one is definitely not empty, so I'm going to stick that one in there. It's a Close to My Heart shimmer pen in clear. This is like a stylus of some sort. I don't know. I don't ever use this, but I don't know why I have it. Probably because it's bigger than this one, and so I keep it in there as well. I keep my multi-tool in there, which I use it sometimes to pry things up off my paper, so I'm going to stick that in there. This is also for releasing paper out of dies, although I don't really use this part of it. I more or less use this part. This is a magnet, and I use it for picking up lots of small dies, especially the little tiny Tim Holtz alpha letters, to get them back in the container, because they're small and they take up a lot of room. I mean, take a lot of time to clean them up. They don't take up a lot of room. Okay, I have a variety of cards here. These are from Illustrated Faith, and this is an old Walmart gift card. I use these for spreading things like gesso or paint. And there is actually, I don't know if you can see it, these 3 little pockets in here. So those slide right there so that I don't lose them. I love that those pockets are there because of that reason. I'm actually going to put this in there also. Hopefully I don't forget it's in there, because that would be tragic. And then I'll have to order another one. Okay, so that little section is done, except for that this guy keeps falling over. Oh, my glue needs to go in there. So I'm going to stick that in there, so hopefully that'll help keep things from falling over. This is like Glossy Accents. It's actually called Crystal Lacquer. It's in a fine line bottle, which is probably, oh no, it still opens. Okay. I'm going to stick that in there too. So I have that on hand just in case. It holds really great. And then I have this big paintbrush in there, but I don't know why. I also do keep a little dot roller in here just in case. Sometimes I forget to bring extra adhesive, or I need a dot roller for some reason. I find the dot rollers work great on acrylic pieces or small pieces because it only picks up the dots. Okay, we're gonna move to this side, and look at this, you guys. This is kind of crazy. Oh my goodness, you never know what you're gonna find. I might have a problem with rub-on sticks because who needs this many rub-on sticks in their bag? I don't think I need all of these in here. This is funny. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. I could probably outfit an entire crop if they were doing rub-ons. That's hilarious. Okay, so I'm going to keep 2 in there, mostly because I know I probably will lose one, but they fall really far down in this pouch. And then I can't see them. So I don't really know what to do about that. Maybe I'll put them... I don't know. I'm going to stick them in there. This is a gold metallic marker, and I do use that on occasion. So I'm going to stick that in there. Maybe if I stick these all in there, it'll help keep things from falling down. I do not know why I have this in here. That's garbage. I do keep a straw for paint techniques where you have to blow the paint around. So that's in there. This is a ceramic blade, mostly for opening boxes and stuff, which you might wonder, why would you need that at a crop? But MK and I have done some where we've had to open packages because we're doing planning for cruise and that kind of stuff. So I keep it in there. It's also, again, like I said, next to my desk. So it's really handy to open packages with. I also have a couple of pen blades in here, but I don't think these work very well. Not that pen blades in general don't work very well, just I think mine are old. I already threw away a couple of them. We're gonna test it. Well, that one sure seemed to work. And that one worked too. So maybe that's, oh, you know, this is the problem with this one. It doesn't retract. You have to pull it. That one retracts fine. So one will stay, this one will stay at home. The non-retracting one. I don't know why this is in here. Maybe to poke things, but it looks like a dental tool, right? Like, who's gonna use that? Not sure how that even got in there. Oh my goodness, you guys. This is why I'm cleaning this out. Oh, Lordy. Okay, more rub-on sticks. I think I can safely get rid of the popsicle stick one even. I do keep this one in case I have to like stir a medium of some sort. So, and that's kind of what I keep these for also, but I don't really need it when I have 15 of these. Now, 16 of these. So I think I will throw away the wooden ones. I will keep an extra plastic one for stirring stuff. I think I'll throw this one away also. It's been in there for so long. I don't know what else is in here. I think that's it, except my scissors. And I don't know why I need this many scissors. Mostly because sometimes I forget to pack these guys. And these go right in this pouch, which is a great place for it because when they're in there, my ATG kind of like, the handle sits on them. So it doesn't wiggle around or anything. So anyway, I'm gonna take the ATG out for a minute. So normally these two are like this. This one does not actually have a blade protector on it, but I really love this pair. Very similar to this pair. The difference is in the squishiness. These ones are so pliable. I mean, these are pliable too, but man, these ones, you can really get in there and they don't hurt your hand at all. Everything is very pliable, whereas these ones are too. They're just a little more stiff. But I'm going to leave these ones at home. But I do always leave one pair in here because, like I said, I forget to bring my other ones, which don't go in the bag when I'm at home. They hang on a hook on my Rascog cart, and the hook is magnetic. Okay, I'm going to get the center section. If you're wondering what all this is, these are the plastic bobbins that you use for embroidery floss, and this is washi tape. So it's a random sampling of washi tapes. Now I've had them on here for many years. I don't know that any of them, well, I know some of them are still good because I've had friends that have recently used them, but I find this is a great way to take a sampling of washi tape with you in a variety of color that doesn't take up a lot of room. So if somebody's looking for washi, I just go, oh, pull whatever you want off of there. And I just have a kind of a random sampling of colors so that you can use a little bit here or a little bit there, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. Okay, these are more nail files. These do not need to be in here. This is actually a crafting file for paper. I don't remember the name of the company that it's from, but I'm gonna leave it in there as well because I don't know. I don't know where else to put it, basically. So I'm gonna put my Fisker's blade. It goes right here. I will probably put this one right here with it. And maybe I'll put this other bigger one with it as well. So all three of the blades are together. And then I'm gonna grab a black marker and put it in here before I'm done. So this is a blending, I don't know what it's called, a blending stump? No. I think it was for blending for this end, but it's not the kind you peel, so maybe it's a bone folder type of deal. I don't know. I never use it, so it's gonna stay here. Although it is nice to have those things on hand when friends ask you, hey, does anybody have one of these? Okay, I'm gonna empty this side now, and we're gonna find out what's missing. Wow, it's the Mary Poppins bag. So many things down in there, as well as some dog hair. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is where I like to put my paintbrushes, back in this deal, because I don't get to them very often. I usually always carry a water brush with me, because in a pinch you can just fill it up with water in the bathroom and then use it for however until you run out of water, basically. And then these are my two favorite sized brushes. They're a number 14 brush. So I'm going to put one of those in there. I don't think I need both. I have a whole bunch of brushes off to the side here that are drying. I usually keep a fan brush in there for doing some flicks, and I usually keep a skinny brush. And then I also normally keep one of these brushes. And the reason for that is because I use acrylic paint sometimes, and I don't want acrylic paint in my good brush. So I'm actually going to move everything to the bigger pocket because it's taking more space. These were all brushes I used this week, or in the last 2 weeks. This is also number 14, but interestingly, number 14s are not always exactly the same. So I keep one with me. Maybe I'll keep a little round as well, just to keep it round. I am going to add a couple of palette knives because I know I'm going to be doing a little mixed media while I'm there. So I'm going to stick those in. This big brush is just going to go back in here. I don't usually use that, but I'm going to stick it in there. And then I have my fringe scissors. I don't know why those stay in here. I think because it's close to my desk, and they don't really have another spot. So I thought I didn't have a lot of adhesive with me, but apparently I do. I keep 4 rolls there. I've got some foam tape. This foam tape has been around the block. It has literally been 20 years, I could easily say. So I keep extra foam tape back here. This is the really thin foam tape that my friend Janie gifted me that I use for shaker pockets. I'm going to stick it back here. It's usually in a different pouch, but I'm going to leave it back there. Oh, look, a 5th one. The question is, nope, that has a brand new one on it. I was going to say I don't need 5, but I'm going to leave that one here. That's brand new. This is glue dots for acrylic and a coat of hair. So acrylic, I leave the glue dots in there. I have more glue dots here. These are Zot's Bling, but I don't think I need all of them, so I'm going to leave one home. And then I keep a roll of Post-it tape, and this is fully sticky Post-it tape because I always forget it, and then I need it to put over people's faces, and I'm always begging other people for their Post-it tape or their Post-it notes. I also keep a bottle of acrylic paint in here so I can do white splatter. And then this is actually the base to this bag. You put it under there and it's a Lazy Susan. So that needs to go in here too because I do use that when I travel. I don't use it so much when I'm at home. So that's going in there. I'm gonna stick this back. Oh no, I'm gonna clean out the center. Did I get everything out of the center? I did. All right, so the center gets this little cutting mat because I don't cut on my glass mat because blades, especially the ceramic blades, can cut your glass mat, believe it or not. I do keep this in there. This is my foam mouse pad, which is where I do all my piercing. So that is great because I use it for stitching. You can also use it if you want to do, like, you make flowers, you put the flower cutout down and you use the stylus in the middle to cup them. So it works for that also. And you'll see in here the adhesive. Oh my gosh. What is this stuff called? Elastic is all stretched out. I'm toying with the idea of cutting it so it's out of the way, but I don't know if that would be a good thing or a bad thing, or if I should like cut it and then try to sew a new piece in by hand. I don't know. Weigh in on that. Would you just cut it? Because it does kind of get in the way sometimes when I'm pulling things in and out. It's not actually used to hold anything, but I don't know. I don't know. It looks like my tape runner got some dog hair on it. Oh my goodness, this room is very dusty at the moment. Okay, my ATG goes in there, and I don't know if you can see, it just goes in like that, and it sits kind of like the end of it's on my scissors to kind of support it, so it's really in there. And I've got my stapler, a hole punch, 2 jewelry type deals, which, believe it or not, I do actually use. Got some more stuff in these pockets that I use frequently. Let's pull those out. These don't normally fall down like that. There's usually other stuff in there to hold them. Okay, so stapler, I always have that on hand because I use it all the time. It goes right there in that little pocket, holds it nice and secure. I keep this mostly because, well, you never know when you need it to hand make a tag, or if you have a, what do you call it? Not tweezers. Oh my gosh. I'm looking at my tweezers. If you have labels that have the little indents on the corners, these are great for like snipping those out. So I keep those handy. And then I keep these because you never know when you're going to have to cut like the back off of Brad, or I don't know, all kinds of stuff. People borrow them all the time from me, so I keep them in here, easy to find, and that way I don't have to get them out of my jewelry making stuff, which I haven't used in eons, and not for jewelry making anyway. But I don't have to get that out because that is at the top of the closet in the back. So then I've got 2 needles for stitching, although these are kind of big needles. I don't know if I'd use those for stitching, but they're in there. I'm going to leave them in there because you never know, every once in a while. And then I've got a mini mister just in case, which is great to know because half the time I forget to put my water bottle in. And I actually have multiple water bottles, but this one's my favorite. It's got a little locker right there. You can also use this, it fits inside the barrel of the water brush, so I can squirt water into the water brush without having to try to pour it, which is great because, you know, pouring water into that little water brush is a big disaster half the time. So that's going in there. This is actually another blade. It is like the blade on your Cricut. If you can see how tiny that is. I don't know where I got this. I think I got it gifted to me at another retreat. So it has a little cover for it. It should go over here with all the other blades. So I'm going to move that so I have it. I also have this one, but I lost the cap to it. It's called a slice. Believe it or not, that little white thing is the blade. It's a ceramic blade and it is uber sharp. But the problem is because the orange part is so big, if you're trying to do detail work, you can't actually see where the blade is. So I keep that off to the side here because it's easy to grab and I can't find the lid for it, so I don't want to stick it in here. And then I have a variety of little tiny scissors, and these are used for little tiny areas like backing cut files and that kind of stuff, but usually I use my big ones. So, and then this is a piercing tool. I do keep it in here as well. Sometimes my hand gets tired of using the little one and I'll pull out the big one, or vice versa, just a different position on the hand. And then this is for opening brads and like smashing the two little tines down. My friend Maureen gave that to me, so I keep that in here. It's very handy. Probably should keep it this way because sometimes the lid comes off. And then these just go right back down in there. And then I do keep one of these, but I actually have my little drawer here has a black and my walnut, which are the two that I use the most frequently. So because I'm traveling, they'll go in here. When I get back, they go back in the drawer. The tweezers are very sharp, and the little tops of them have split in half and then disappeared. So I just gotta find a place for these guys. Maybe I can put these right here. Yeah, that should work. I've never put them in there before, but it should work. And then I'll just leave that one at home because I don't really need all three, actually. Maybe I'll stick this one in for the juniper mist because I do love my navy blue. And I'm not taking any other inks with me. This is actually all stretched out too, so I don't know that it's very useful to hold a whole lot. When I travel, I do have kind of like one of those reusable soft bags that this whole thing goes in, so that if something falls out in the car or it gets knocked over, it stays inside the other bag. I tie the top of it shut, and so nothing will fall out. All right, well, I don't know if that really helped a whole lot, but I feel more organized, and I left some stuff out that I don't need, including 13 rub-on tools that don't need to go with me. So I'm gonna set those aside. The other thing that's missing is my pencil, which always has to be available. I just need a spot to put it. So 2 of these don't go all the way through, which actually might be perfect for these. It's because the seam for the pocket kind of goes into it. So that's actually perfect for these 2 guys. And then I can move my Sharpie over and put my pencil in. Actually, I like it this way better. So got my pencil, my eraser, and my Sharpies over there. So that is it. Hopefully, if you needed help organizing, you kind of saw a little bit what I did. I do always usually put this in, usually. That's so great. I normally have one of these in as well, and I think I'm just going to stick it back here just for small stamps. And then, oh, I forgot there is actually a little drawer down at the bottom, which I actually wanted to check and see what was in it, because I used to keep some embossing stuff in here. Oh, look. Huh. Apparently there's still some embossing stuff in here that has spilled. More glue dots, a little bit bigger size. Don't really need those to come, but maybe I'll leave them in there because I don't know how many was on that other roll, to be honest with you. This is what's leaking. Opaque white. Well, that's fun. So I usually have a couple of things in here that are for embossing, but it's not very helpful since the stamp pad's not in here. The stamp pad I did pack. It's not the one I normally would keep in here. And look, a pencil sharpener, and I have no pencil that needs to be sharpened. So that doesn't need to go in there. That's for my colored pencils, or my watercolor pencils. Okay. Look, we can emboss the bottom of this. I'm not really sure what to do with this. I dump it off to the trash. Okay, I think the problem, I don't know if you can hear me. I think the problem with that was there's too much space for them to roll around, and these ones won't fit standing up. So I actually brought a clear with me, and I normally keep a clear, and I don't know what else. So white, silver, clear, and gold. Those are the ones I normally keep because I don't actually keep a lot of colors. So I'm gonna go with those two, and then I'm actually gonna move some of my ATG rolls into here because I don't need to have 4 or 5 of those in my bag. I just need like one handy. If I really need to go and get another one, I'll just grab it out of here. So a little backup stash of adhesive there, but it won't take as much room in the actual pouch, which is great. And then I keep a little memento black in there. Okay, I think that's actually going to work much better. That gives me a little more room in that back bag. It's not as fat. Okay, I'm going to stick that back in there. And it does need this in here because it kind of supports the whole thing. But it's not really the easiest little thing to get in and out. I had a previous style of this bag that was a little easier, but it finally fell apart. All right, that is it, you guys. I think it's all packed and ready to go. I'm moving my ink pads that were kind of precariously perched here to back here now that I have a little bit more room in the back. So now I've got my 3 ink pads in the back there. So all set and ready to go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was helpful. It was super long and I apologize for that. But I hope it was helpful for you. I think at the last minute I'm adding a couple of these just in case I borrow somebody's ink. These are clean. I do wash them. So I'll throw a couple of these in case I borrow an ink pad from somebody and I need a colored one or a clean one. But I think those are going to go maybe in that little bottom pouch. Oh, you know what? I still have a little pouch right here open. Maybe that would be better for my little tiny scissors because they tend to fall in this other pouch. That is an excellent idea. Look, all the scissors are on one side now, you guys. That's exciting. And I still have my little stand-up tool over here. I can stick this guy in there. I like it. It's a lot more organized. I don't know, I never use that thing, but I probably could put my staples and my extra blade down in this bottom thing, and I'll just put these here because I'm more likely to use the little pads than to need to replace staples or the blade right quick, you know, like the blade doesn't get changed that often, and the stapler, I have multiple packs of these staples at home, so it's usually pretty full, but keep them on hand because you just never know. Oh, last but not least. Okay, I keep saying last but not least. Last but not least, I'm throwing a pad of Post-its. These are full sticky Post-its in case I have to make myself a note to add something to a layout when I get home or anything like that. And it's going to go in the third little pocket inside here. So I've got my little cards, my distress tool, and my little tiny Post-it notes. Okay, now thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again real soon. Bye-bye.